Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from the GBM studios in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes. Start your morning right with your hosts, Sabrina Daly and Paul Lopez.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Paul Lopez.
And I'm Sabrina Daly.
And it is Wednesday, May 6th.
Good morning, Paul. How you doing?
Good morning.
Happy
I am
Wednesday.
doing fine. Happy Wednesday.
How you feeling after Cinco de Mayo? Did you eat up some tacos last night? Drink some tequila?
Unfortunately not.
No?
I after work I went home. What did I have for dinner last night?
Need some homemade tacos?
Actually, if you consider like a rice bowl Mexican,
Okay.
right? Like a rice and a salad type of mix and
Not
some
really.
chicken.
No.
That's Mexican as it got for me last night.
Okay, cool, got you. Well, I know a lot of people, they enjoyed their Cinco de Mayo festivities yesterday. If you did, let us know in the comment section what that was like. But it is Wednesday and the show must go on. And so we want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's joining us right now, wherever you are tuning in from, if it's in the country, in the districts, or if you're locking in from the diaspora. Thank you so much for starting your morning right here with us. Now we have some wonderful conversations to look forward to, Paul. I know you have the
100%.
lineup for us. What you got?
Yeah, so there's several things, conversations we'll have. So y'all just come on over here to the big screen so we could just take a deep dive into what we have planned for this morning. In our first conversation, guys, it's all about rent and housing and rent prices. We've been talking about this. We even put a Facebook poll up on our Open Your Eyes page. And so we'll be having that conversation. We have a real estate broker in with us this morning to talk all about rent prices rising, the pressure that's mounting on Belizeans, and if we could keep up with it. And then in our second conversation, it has been hot. The days have been hot, and with heat also comes fire, especially these wildfires. And so we'll be joined by experts in that field to speak with us about how we could better prepare for the fire season this year. And then in our third conversation, it's all about Nurses Week and about the contributions that nurses make to our healthcare system here in Belize. We're going to be highlighting their work and their effort and really bring you all into the conversation as we celebrate them. And then last but certainly not least, from Belize to Morocco, Miss Maia Tellez takes local impact global. That's also an interesting conversation. And so we invite you to join us, to engage in these conversations, and just to stay locked in. Sabrina?
All right, just catching that ball over there that you're passing over to me. Now, we got some topics to jump into before you leave your homes this morning. Now, there's this new virus that's on the scene that people are talking about. Apparently, the conversation started when there was a breakout on a cruise ship, and they're calling it hantavirus. They also say that its sources come from rodents. Now, people are wondering if this will be the next outbreak of like a COVID 2.0, right? People are thinking about lockdowns and, of course, what safety and protection can look like for them. So hopefully we get some time to jump into that. Then we also want to talk about the dry season here in Belize. You know, we spoke to the National Met Service of what you can expect. I know that we have currently an El Nino wave system or weather conditions around us, and that causes drier temperatures. But what does that mean for you, and how could that affect other sectors in the country? Hopefully we also get some time to jump into that. A little bit more international. I know that there was the Met Gala, and that took place on Monday. That's a big deal for people who love fashion. there was also some drama behind the scenes. And so if you tuned into that, maybe this might be a conversation that you want to also listen to. And then this one's for the Belize Rural Central constituents. There's the standard bearer, the UDP standard bearer, Edward Broster, set to ease some of that gas pain where you guys experience a BRC. Now this, as I mentioned, is only for BRC, Belize Rural Central. He's planning to take away some of that with a $2 discount on 10 gallons. And he's also asking the Prime Minister to match it. But other questions that people are also asking is, who's funding this? And then finally, OIE's Facebook poll. We have been talking about rent. And are rent payments really bothering you? Do you rent, and is it too high? So that's a poll that we put up on our Facebook page. It's still up, I believe, at this time. We're asking, let's talk about rent. How much are you paying for rent in Belize City and wherever you're stationed in the country, and do you consider it too high? As Paul mentioned, we'll also be having a segment on that. So drop your questions in as well, because we'll definitely be using some of that conversation for that segment. Paul, you want to join me?
Of course.
Now, I know that a lot of us would talk about several things right now online. As we mentioned, some of these conversations coming up, they're also worthy of looking at. But I really want to look at this BRC, Christmas early fuel, I want to say, I guess, subsidy for a month for this period that is being this Friday. I don't want to extend it beyond what is actually being offered. The Belize Rural Central standard bearer, Edward Broster, he is stepping it up and coming forward and trying to ease some of the burdens that people are facing at the pumps. Now, I can't tell you, there has never been a time I wish I had lived at Belize Rural Central than now, right? And so he's offering a $2 discount or cutting off $2 from people at the pump. He's also asking the Prime Minister to match it. But as I mentioned, some people are also asking, how you go afford this, you know? What's the size of BRC's constituency, and will people take advantage of it? I absolutely believe they will.
Of course, people will take advantage of it, Sabrina. I think Mr. Broster is very strategic in his approach with this situation, because as a political hopeful in the Belize Rural Central, he is going or targeting an area that people are desperately in need in terms of the rising cost of fuel, right? So strategically, it is a great move. Will it? Well, he's the caretaker for the area. He's not a standard bearer yet. There isn't that official system set for the UDP as yet until you get closer to the elections. But as we understand it, he is a caretaker. Will it give him some political capital? Well, one would certainly think so, and I'm sure he would certainly hope so, though he may argue, well, this is not for politics, this is just for ensure that I help the people, but you can't take the politics out of it. Honestly, you can't take the politics out of it. It is what it is. And the cap is at 10 gallons, so it is $2 off every gallon. This is the relief that he's offering at this very gas station in Ladyville. The cap is 10 gallons at $2 per gallon. So that's an average. You're giving a subsidy of $20 per person. And I'm not trying to diminish the amount, because every little goes a long way. When I go to the gas pump, if somebody tells me I give them a $20 discount today, but I don't worry about nothing, I say, what? I want to take that. So that is exciting. However, when you do the maths, right? So $20 per person. If you get 100 persons or 100 people, that's $2,000, right? If you get 200 people, then you start double that, like $4,000. So depending on the amount, he could pay well over $20,000. Let's say you get 1,000 people at $20. You're paying at least $20,000 out in one day. And it could be more, it could be less. I'm not sure how they control the crowd, because like whether they're just for Belize Rural Central voters, or if people from all across the country could come and benefit from it. And if that for just Belize Rural Central voters, then what? You have to bring your ID.
Your voter's ID.
Your voter's ID. Will there be a vetting process for say, oh, you the UDP, you the PUP, I know you vote this way,
well,
I know
I would
you
hope
vote
not.
that way. Well, you would hope not, right? But so I'm just thinking, controlling the crowd, ensuring that the people that you're targeting or you want to target in your constituency, that they benefit and that it's not something where it's just free for all from just across the country, right? But the question here, and I think the most important question we've asked so far is, where's the money coming from? What Mr. Brosser had said yesterday is that there's well-off party supporters. He didn't call any names, but there's well-off party supporters that are in a position to back these sort of initiatives. But that's my issue, Sabrina. My issue goes back to the whole conversation about campaign financing. This is somewhat of a campaigning move, right? Some people might close their eyes and don't want to see it like that, but again, you could gain political capital from it. So without campaign financing legislation, individuals like Mr. Broster, unless willing and does so on his own free will, does not have to declare who is financing or who are the people financing this sort of initiatives like this one, where you will likely have to expend thousands and thousands of dollars to support an initiative like this.
Well, first off, I want to say it seems like it's a collaboration because based on the story that was provided by our colleague Shane Williams, they mentioned a specific gas station.
Yes.
And so I'm wondering,
but is it that the gas station is providing the subsidy? Because what the story also said is that they're paying. What they also said that they're going to pay the gas station the rest, right?
Yes.
That's what he said in the story.
So I'm wondering if there's some type of collaboration that took place there. It's not uncommon that you would hear businesses collaborate or work alongside politicians, same as you just alluded to.
Yeah, but we don't know. We don't know who
that.
these people are.
And that brings another point that we should be mentioning about.
You're getting political capital from this.
Political financing and whatnot.
You're getting financing, and we just don't know. And so this is one prime example of what needs to take place across the political aisles, where there needs to be legislation in place so that when things like this happen, and it's enough to knock the initiative, people will celebrate it. But at the same time, you can't just let politicians get away with just having the people finance these initiatives, and you don't know who they are. You don't know what the money is.
All right, well, I just want to bring up a comment really quickly. We have a viewer tuning in saying, what time you are they out there so I could get some time off work. Tyler Smith says he lives in the suburbs of Ladyville. And so this will definitely be an area that will benefit from this. But let's move things along, Paul. I know that another conversation that we are having right now is the dry season. The drought is coming. We had folks from the National Meteorological Service on the couch with us last week talking about El Nino and how that affects everyone here for the dry season, all the different sectors. We know agriculture is one of the areas that will be heavily impacted, and they are also trying to put measures in place. I believe the government is also providing some type of support to them, and so this is just a notice to you guys to be mindful. Over the weekend, it was very hot. I know in certain parts of the country, you guys experienced triple digits in terms of temperatures, and that is expected to continue with a drought, of course. We are hoping for some rain, but this is what is coming with the heat.
Yeah, and so the conversation extends to how does it affect the agriculture industry, Sabrina? That's a huge part of the conversation today. And so yesterday, we took our cameras out to the market. That's where vendors are. That's where vendors from these different rural communities bring their products. And they're bracing for impact. Honestly, the we look at the weather and we think about how it impacts us personally. We think about, oh, we have this, we're out sweaty every day, or we have to use extra deodorant and things really dread when you have to be in the heat. But we don't oftentimes spend time thinking about how it impacts our food and how it impacts the price of food. And so yesterday what we learned from farmers is that when one example is that when the heat increases at least to this extent, then they have to spend more time watering their land, and if they have acres upon acres, that means spending more gas in certain cases for their machine and their equipment, and so the input cost increases significantly. And this is just one example of how the heat and more so the drought affects the cost of produce. And now they come and they essentially they have to clash with customers when they come to the market, because on the other end you have customers that are saying, or consumers that are saying, the cost of goods is increasing, they're increasing in every single area, and we just try to stretch with money, please give me one discount. And the farmer is saying, well, I feel it right now because I've had to input more to produce this product. And so on one hand you have the farmers not only asking but needing more from the consumer by way of money, and then you have the consumer saying, I can't give you more, in fact I can give you less. And that's where the clash comes in when you reach the marketplace. Now the Ministry of Agriculture is saying, hey, we want to step in. We're going to provide some relief for farmers once you're registered in the agriculture system, and that relief is coming by way of a $400 grant to farmers. Every little bit conk, right? But I still have to wonder, and I still have to ask, how far can $400 go? And again, it's a grant, so it's give taken. You get the money for free. Still, is it enough? And that's a question we have to ask. We have to go to these farms and find out really how far can $400 go? Yeah,
no, absolutely. And I think the important thing to hone in on, based on what you mentioned, Paul, is the importance of providing the support, because it impacts us as well. When we go to the grocery stores, when we go to the market, that change, that simple shift with fuel, Paul, affects us at the markets, at the grocery stores. Whenever we want to buy our produce, just a simple rise in fuel, having to put more work into getting their harvest, that affects their produce price as well. And so it's important that they get their support. We definitely hope that the dry season, the drought, people are able to prepare as best as they can. One of the things that we heard from Ms. Shayna Young, senior climatologist, is that when you have seasons like this, like droughts, like what would occur with the El Nino, it's something that you can prepare for. It's not like the hurricane season where a hurricane might just spring upon you, right? We already know that this is coming. So find ways that you can collect water, find ways that you can prepare yourself for this dry season. Yeah. Now, Paul, I know that we have the rent conversation coming up, and we'll definitely be diving deeper into that, speaking with some experts. But we want to talk to Una about this right now, right? We have a poll up on our Facebook page on Open Your Eyes, and the question is, what Una to pay for rent? Yeah. We have some options there. We know that there are people paying, hundreds of dollars in rent, Paul. But there are quite a few people who are lucky to get that under $500 rent wherever in the country. And so this poll is still up at this time. You still have an opportunity to share what your experience is like in your neck of the woods. But what we saw was that of all the persons who participated, 10%, only 16, voted that they are paying under $500. We have 88 votes saying that they are paying between $500 to $800. And then we have 35 saying that they are paying between $800 to $1,200 for rent. And then 15, $1,200 to $2,000. And then 2 persons saying that they are paying over $2,000 in rent. Now, this is a small poll. One thing we want to point out, we only had a couple hundred who participated, but I think it's going to really set the stage for the conversation that we are going to have a little bit later on in the morning. As well. One of the things I want to, I appreciate a couple of things from this poll. Yeah. It's non-scientific, first of all. It's just get clear the air with that.
but it shows me that the majority of participants, they're paying between $500 to $800, right? That seems to be like a sweet spot in many cases, and that's an indication of what people are paying in majority. When you look at the annual estimates for how much money or how much income Belizeans are generating on average, then you really begin to see the picture of how the cost of rent and even the high cost of living is impacting us and is affecting our pockets. The SIB stats says, Sabrina, and I'll just quickly go over this. It says that employed persons in Belize, on average, were making monthly $1,498. So $1,498 on average, Belizeans were making in April of 2025. And then when it comes to managers, on average, managers are making, excuse me, $2,321. Quick math, Sabrina. If you make $1,498 based on SIB, and you have to pay $500 to $800 in rent, that's the half of your money gone, right? And you know they talk groceries yet.
Yeah.
You know they talk gas for your vehicle yet. You know they talk utilities yet. If you have children, you know they talk school fees yet.
Yeah, you got 600 for stretch for the month.
How are we surviving this? Right? Like how are we doing this? How are we making this happen? And that is why we should pat ourselves on the back in many cases, because we are so resourceful as a country and we're so resourceful as a people. But that really paints a clear picture of why people are speaking so much about cost of living and why people are railing about the high cost of things, because in your pockets, stretching every single dollar is a reality that you have to face every single day.
Well, we'll definitely be having an extensive conversation on this. If you still want to participate in the poll, you can do so, and we might bring it back in that conversation later on. But I'm also interested to hear some of your concerns if you are a renter. A lot of people have said that they are paying, you know, the $500 to $800 plus, and what they get for that, they feel like it doesn't match as well. You know, what they're paying for, they feel like they're paying much more than they're actually getting back in terms of the quality of living. And so if you have some thoughts on that, you can also share. I'm interested to know what the rent looks like in certain parts of the country, right? And so I know that there are a few people here in Belize City where if you rent Pananat side, it's like double versus certain other areas in the city. If you're renting from Orange Walk, what are you paying? If you're renting down south, what are you paying? And then, of course, here in Belize City, what are you paying? We might be using some of that in the conversation a little bit later. But we do got to take our first break. And when we come back, we'll be jumping into that renter conversation. Don't go anywhere. It's all about rent rising, pressure mounting. Can Belizeans keep up? We'll be talking about that when we come back.
In the heart of the Kaya district, Calico Jacks is proving that sustainability and success can go hand in hand.
When Calico Jacks wanted to move to solar energy, the biggest difficulty for us was the finance. Belize Bank believed in our vision, and we are very happy and grateful that they gave us this opportunity for the financing.
Through the Credit Risk Abatement Facility, a partnership between Belize Bank and the CARICOM Development Fund, small and medium businesses can access financing for renewable and energy-efficient solutions with reduced collateral requirements.
Here at SCSB, we're grateful for Belize Bank to make it easy for our clients to go green. We're proud to work with businesses like Calico Jacks to help them lower their costs and their carbon footprint.
At Belize Bank, we are powering Belize's transition
to renewable energy, one business at a time. Together with our partners, we're making sustainable financing accessible for all.
Belize Bank, financing a greener, stronger Belize.
All right, you're all set. I'll swap out the water inlet valve and everything is running normally.
Amazing. So what will be the cost?
Oh, for you? There's no cost.
No cost? I'm flattered, but I'm actually married.
Oh no, nothing like that. It's actually part of our 1-year warranty policy.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Don't worry, it happens all the time.
Really?
No.
Belize's only full-service GE USA dealer. Full service, full warranty, full selection. GE Appliances. Good things for life. Available at Design Depot. All in one place.
Belize wakes up connected to opportunity. And across our country, the work to keep Belize connected continues. SMART continues expanding our network across the country, bringing stronger coverage to more communities. With recent service enhancements in areas at Blue Creek and Progresso, Belize City, Orange Rock, and more on the way. We're bringing education closer to home, empowering entrepreneurs to grow their businesses, supporting industries that drive our economy, and keeping families connected wherever life takes them. With every expansion, we are investing in the infrastructure that moves Belize forward. Because connection isn't just about signal, it's about opportunity, progress, and the future we are building together. SMART, bringing people together.
Insurance fact. Did you know with Home Protector Insurance, construction projects can receive insurance coverage from start to finish? We offer a variety of bonds. This includes bid bonds, advance payment bond, performance bonds, or others. Let Home Protector be a part of your team and help safeguard you through your next project. Visit any Home Protector Insurance office near you to learn more.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned with us. This is our first conversation for this morning. And we have joining us on set real estate broker Hugo Mogel. And he's in to add to the conversation about rent, what we're paying for rent, what the market looks like right now, even what conversations are surrounding legislation. Is there legislation? Well, Mr. Hugo is in to join us in this conversation. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
No, it's a pleasure having you. You are telling us earlier that you were looking at some of the data we presented earlier in the conversation. What's your view on what people told us from that poll about how much they're paying for rent?
Now, that was very interesting because it really confirms what we all know in the industry, right? Rents have been going up, but salaries haven't been keeping up, right? So normally you don't want out of your salary to be spending more than, say, 35% on your housing. The figures, I think your research shows that people are well over half.
Yep.
And we know that to be the case, right? As a broker, we really specialize mostly in sales, right? I could tell you what homes would be selling for, what land would be selling for. And we have a division that handles rentals, right? But that's a very small part of our business. What is a bigger part is dealing with investors and gearing them to providing housing, whether it be single-family homes or apartments. Now, you're creating this for a market. The market needs to absorb this product, right? So we have to know where the market rates are, what the market is willing to pay. The investor wants a certain rate of return, right? And so that's where we come in, right? We study the market, we advise our clients. We also help tenants find apartments, find homes, and
first-time homeowners, that kind of thing, right? So we're very much in tune as to what's going on. And yes, it's very concerning, but how do we address it, right? And I think that's the discussion that we need to have.
Yeah, and while we head towards that direction, who controls the market? Who creates balance in the market?
There's no one person that does that. And that's a misconception. People think that it's someone's decision or a group of people and this is what will price. No, and I'll give you an example, right? Look at COVID, look at the pandemic. Look what happened there, right? People were investing a lot in apartments because they know, listen, you put an apartment, you use your downstairs, you could put an apartment, 2 apartments. People need housing, they'll rent out and they'll rent out fast.
Yeah.
People just in conversations know that. I didn't get what the majority of people were paying, but
they were paying the 500 to 800.
Right, exactly. So very few people are offering units within that price bracket, right? What they're offering is 1,000, 1,500. That's like the commonplace. So everybody investing in that, they can make a return. There's enough demand for that. What happened in the pandemic? People lost their jobs. People's businesses weren't making any money. People were saying, listen, I can't afford the rent. And their landlords had to make a decision. You're a good tenant, you've paid your rent on time, you haven't given me any trouble, I want to keep you. What can you afford? And these conversations were had, so people were working out new deals and rent was coming down, right? There was still the demand, but there wasn't the ability to pay, and that was recognized across the board, because if you didn't do that, then he would move or she would move to another unit that's willing to give them the rent that they wanted. My point is this, is that no one person decided that the market came together, the two sides, and worked out on what would benefit both sides. So you either have an empty building and not collect any income, or you keep your tenants, help them out, and they give you something back.
That's interesting. I like that you referenced that shift at that particular time, and your view or how you laid it out can be disputed because everybody knew and understood the financial constraints at that time. However, it appears as if the market is reverting back to pre-pandemic, pre-COVID prices and structure. What's happening now?
So that's the thing. It's growing, the economy is growing, it's doing better. I know a lot of sectors don't feel it, and that's a whole different discussion. But when you see prices going up, it's because the market can pay it. What's happening to, and nobody's mentioning it, is the cost of construction. You realize that what happened to from 2020, when COVID, to I think it was 2021, cost of construction went up by 45%. 45%, do the math, in that period of time. Cost of construction went up, both materials and then labor.
What does that mean in value?
In value?
Yeah.
You can say that it was going up, like right now you're looking at about $250 to $275, $250 to $275 a square foot for concrete construction, quality construction within Belize City. And you have it lower in further inland, Belmopan, but just slightly, because what? Labor is picking up that slack. You know, Belize City, you have to build stronger foundations, piling, this type of thing. So you saw an easy jump from 200 to 235 to 250, and now we're at 250, 275.
A square foot.
A square foot. And by the way, that doesn't include the land.
Yeah.
Right? You have to build it on something, so you have to buy the land, and we love our city, but we know it's low-lying, so you have to fill.
So the investment is bigger.
It's far bigger.
Now, this is such an interesting conversation, Hugo, and I appreciate having you here as a real estate broker, because you're able to give several perspectives from the side of people choosing to go all in and invest fully, purchasing properties, purchasing homes, and then, you know, the other percentage, which in a lot of cases we're seeing as the larger percentage of people who don't want to take that risk and they decide to rent. What are common reasons that you would hear from people who would decide to rent versus own a property?
That's a very good question, and the discussion is whether you should rent or own, right? I'm of the opinion that you should always try to own, right? And the problem is affordability, obviously. Also, if you borrow, are you building credit? Are you paying off your loans, right? If you start with a small loan, are you paying that off? Then you go and you find something a little bigger, you pay that off, you're building your credit history with the bank. That's what people should be doing. But when you start getting into a car loan, okay, you need a vehicle, you need to move around, you need to work, but then do you really need that vacation loan? If you can't afford your vacation, you shouldn't go, right? You find something local. I mean, my mom was a nurse. We go to Chetumal, catch the bus when I was a little kid, and I was like, wow, we're in Chetumal, we spend a weekend, and it's affordable, right? You don't have to go to the US, just as an example.
Yeah.
So you manage your debt, right? Yeah. Because at some point, you're building up to where you can buy your first lot or build your home, or hopefully, purchase a home itself, right? Those are the considerations people have. Usually rent is far less than what a mortgage payment would be. You saw interest rates since we've seen that interest rates had fallen, they're creeping back up again. But I mean, when I started out, I think mortgages were between 8 and 9%. They went down to about 5.5. Now you're talking about 6%, right? So in that aspect, it's more affordable, but you still have to be able to put down your down payment, right?
And I think that's where the challenge comes about, because a lot of people don't have capital. But just before you jump in, Paul, because we were talking about or questioning if legislation exists to protect renters, right? And we already know, based on the research that we tried to do, we found nothing.
Yeah.
Do you believe, though, that there should be some type of rent control in this country?
So people, no. But let me explain why.
Okay.
It's not saying it's not a problem, we should not address it. No. I'm saying rent control is not the answer, right? If you look anywhere that rent control has been brought into effect, it's never worked. Long term, it's never worked. Two things happen. Owners stop maintaining their property, right? Because it's an additional cost, right? So then the tenant now is paying, and they feel like they should get, regular maintenance, things should be at a certain standard. So that's not kept up. Then eventually they start selling, or they decide, listen, I'm not going to build another one. Because if and anyone in construction could tell you, you have a budget. When you start building, your budget usually go above your budget, go above plan, right? So now you need the security of that income, and if you're already heading towards a ceiling, there's no room for you, no safety, so the risk is multiplied. At that point, I said, listen, I have to find something else to do with my money, right? So it doesn't work. But what we have to look at, and I think I was pointing to the cost, right? Then if we can offer an opportunity for investors to build at a more affordable rate, maybe for specific products, not across the board, because then you don't want to give that incentive to someone that will build luxury things that people will can't afford,
and
right?
There's a market
for specific products. Exactly, there's a market for that. Market will pay that. They know that. But if you incentivize now more affordable housing, right? And do that through cost, right? Because everything has to be imported. Everything has a big percentage there that you have to pay on top, right? Then I think that's a way to say, okay, it will cost me so much to build this one for $1,500 a month. But if this incentive come in, guess what? My return, I could afford to rent for $500 or $800. Or we incentivize joint living, right? That's happening all over the place, especially with senior citizens.
Like you mean like roommates, apartment mates?
You could build homes or apartments with multiple units that have shared areas.
That's not very common here in Belize,
it's
though.
not well, it's growing though.
Okay.
You get co-workers that say, listen, I have this apartment, or family members, and listen, it's $1,000. I can't pay $1,000. But guess what? We could share, we could split up that rent between three of us, right? That kind of thing. So there's already a move towards that. Now, you don't want to get ridiculous and pack it up, and but if you create the right products, co-living, that's what it's called. That's an attractive way. And guess what? That's temporary while you build up your income look at a side business on the weekends, have an aim to save and could demonstrate that to the bank for when you're ready to own.
Yeah, and I think the challenge or the problem with the with the home ownership movement or the push for people to own homes is exactly what you're saying. People just build up a lot of debt, whether it's a vehicle debt, whether it's a vacation debt, and they're unable to manage their debt. And so now they try and take on more debt through a mortgage, and they fall deeper
So the issue is financial literacy
then? Well,
that's a big part of it.
That's a huge part of the issue. And if you're unable to manage the debt you already have, why go and take on a mortgage that is much bigger and much more long term?
100%.
And that,
one little thing happens in your life, right?
And
life isn't perfect,
yes.
and then you fall apart, and then everything, because you're right on the edge, you over leverage yourself. But are we growing up with a plan to say, I one day want to own my own home, right?
Yes.
Or be more ambitious and say I want to own buildings and this and that. Are we growing up with that, right?
And that's why this is why people are. This is why the conversation about rent is important, because this is what people are opting for at this point in time financially. Are investors and homeowners profiting at this time?
They are, but that's a very good question. So we sell units as well, buildings with multiple units, multiple tenants, right? And the rate of return that traditionally people would have wanted was 10%, right? So the income has to add up 10% per year of the value that you pay, right? As a rough figure, right?
So you pay off in 10 years.
Exactly. So, but that, you don't get that. People that have that hold on to those, right? So now, if you get 8%, you're pretty good. Okay, well, no, it's not enough. So we have situations where it's between 5 and 8%, but you can only afford to collect 5% if you are not paying the bank. So that's an older building that I built that already. I paid off the bank, and now I could afford to take a little less, but I still have to afford to maintain the property. So that's a very good question. That's going down. So the incentive, it's kind of pushing. So then what happens? People get pushed towards a more luxury or the more high-end, for the high-end market that could afford a more expensive product and maybe an increase in rent over time. That doesn't solve our problem at the lower end of the spectrum, right? And that's what I'm saying. So you have to incentivize investors to supply that product. I tell you one thing, I keep saying it over and over, we don't have enough one-bedroom apartments. If you're a single person or a young couple, your options are limited. People are putting too many two-bedroom units. We need more single-bedroom units. You don't need a 1,000 square foot apartment, right? You can be very creative. YouTube University is the nicest thing available right now. And you can see the layouts that work, that really economize space. 250, 300 square feet.
Yeah, studio apartments, I think, are becoming a little bit more attractive now.
As well.
But I want to go to the property maintenance that you spoke of, because I quickly took a look at the comment section, and I saw a commenter asking, what is the law that would have a renter maintain the property? Now, I know that you're not an attorney, but you do work alongside people who would draft up contracts on a regular for renting. And what does that look like?
And that's a very, very good question. As far as I know, there isn't any. I don't know of any. And that's one thing that I could tell you needs addressing. I mean, I've seen some rentals where people have been so desperate that literally you wonder how they live in this space. And it's not them not maintaining their interior space. It's really everything around it, right? So that I think there's a place for that for sure. You have to offer units at a certain standard. We did that during COVID. Remember the sink outside? Some places still have it. I like Watchman's. They walk in and it's good. So and all the hotels had to fit a certain standard. So it's not impossible, but you have to be realistic and reasonable as well, right?
Next one.
That's something to
First, last on deposit. A lot of people are saying Is this something like, is this a thing? Do you have to pay first, last, and deposit? Is this a practice that you guys have at your brokerage?
It's a standard. We don't always require first and last. It's really up to the landlord what they want, their
and a
comfort
deposit
level,
with that.
And a deposit with that. And what happens is that you pay your first month upfront. You pay your last month upfront as well. That one, some landlords are willing to waive and say, no, getting the first if they could pay the security deposit. The purpose of the security deposit now is as a security to ensure that the condition of the unit is maintained by the tenant. There's no damage, there are no bills that are coming about, any utilities left unpaid that the landlord has to deal with. And sad to say that has had to be put into effect more and more.
So I want to throw in just a personal question here, and I think that for people who interact with real estate brokerage, sometimes they're a little bit intimidated, right? They think that once you go through real estate, you're going to pay a lot of money. Yeah. Do you have any type of feedback that you can give to people who might have that misconception about using a broker to invest in a property or to try to find a rental space? Will I be paying much more if I go through a service like yours?
Is it a misconception?
It is a misconception because we don't manage the cost, right? It's not our decision. We can advise an owner. If you have a property in Ladyville, let's say, or right here in Kings Park, and okay, we can advise on what we feel the market would pay, right? But ultimately, it's your decision, right? So we don't affect that. But what I was going to say is that you should hire an expert that knows the market, that can advise you well, and that you feel connected with or comfortable with. And again, one of my things was supply, right? There's so many agents now, so many.
Yeah.
I mean, you go have your pick, and that's a whole different thing,
I could walk
right?
out there and become an agent.
Yeah, actually.
I always joke, everybody on the ground is an agent now, right? But my point with that is that you can take your time and select, get people's opinion, people that you know and trust, and say, who would you recommend? Who would you refer to me because I need assistance in this field, right?
All right. Well,
there's many more questions, but this is where we'll end the conversation for this morning. I'd just like to give you an opportunity to share some final thoughts.
Well, final thoughts with this. Yeah, it's a big issue in terms of affordability and housing, and especially in the tourist-driven areas. You have San Pedro.
We didn't even get to touch on San Pedro.
We didn't even get to that, and that's a major problem. Placencia as well, Belize City. Now, Belize City and Placencia have the benefit of being on the mainland, and so when you see the highway packed with traffic, it's because people are moving out. There's a reason why Ladyville is the fastest growing community in the entire country. Why? Affordability. They pour out of the city because it's more affordable.
But eventually that will be another issue. The rent will go up there as
well. The rent will go up, but guess what? You have to take examples from other countries. Then, okay, let's look at transportation, right? We have a brand new highway, brand new bridge, okay, that's already getting clogged with traffic. Okay, do we need something better with buses? We're seeing electric buses now in the city. Will we have them there? We have waterways that we're not using for public transportation. Any way to mitigate costs? Do you really need a car? Maybe not, right? So these are the things that you have to think outside of the box. You look at Placencia. Santa Cruz didn't exist. It was a small little village around that roundabout, right, where the Placencia. That has grown because of Placencia, right? Independence, Mango Creek, same thing. But the island now, Ambergris has a problem because it's an island, right? And the cost of living is so expensive. So then what are you going to do for your employees? What are you going to do for your workers if you want to build and operate a resort, let's say? You got to provide housing. Can you afford that? Can you try to do that and then go down in business? So that has to be incentivized. And I think there's enough investors there that could do it, but the incentive isn't there. You have to follow up with infrastructure. You have to help cut costs. If you can cut costs, then you can bring products that will help that market.
Well, Mr. Morgan, you're really giving us a lot to think about this morning. And so we want to thank you for joining us, and hopefully we could have you back to have an even more extended conversation. Thank you so much.
All right, we have to take another quick break though, but when we come back, we're going to switch gears into a different line of conversation. This one is called Up in Smoke, Fire Season Alert for Belize.
Hello, friends. I'm Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says that Barnabas and Paul were men that hazarded their lives, or literally risked their lives, for the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Today in the church, we have too many professors and not enough possessors. Too many who talk the talk, but who do not walk the walk. Too many who have been whitewashed, but not washed white. Too many who want a kind of alimony from God without any allegiance to God. Too many who are willing to take but not willing to give. Too many spiritual profiteers who are willing to serve God as long as it does not cost them anything. We need more people with the attitude of David, who said he would not offer to God that which cost him nothing. Paul and Barnabas were some of the first missionaries the church sent out, but it was not without a price or a sacrifice. They hazarded their life for the name of Jesus and sharing the gospel. During the Iraqi war in the spring of 2003, I read the story of Chris Carter, who saw an Iraqi woman on a bridge who was about to be killed. Without thought of personal safety, he left his Bradley fighting vehicle and dashed onto the bridge to bring the Iraqi woman to safety and stand guard over her with his M16A4 rifle as she was placed into an ambulance by medics to be given medical attention. God give us risk takers in the church with equal passion to share the gospel with a world on the very brink of destruction. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
For decades, BEL has powered Belize's growth and progress, lighting homes, energizing industries, and fueling national development. But in a world reshaped by extreme weather patterns, digital transformation, and evolving customer needs, the future of energy demands a new approach. The future of energy is now, and it's not just about new technology, it's about people and how we use, manage, and store power smarter. BEL is leading the transformation, blending modern advancements with the wisdom of sustainable energy practices. Integrating technologies will redefine how Belize produces and uses energy. With distributed generation and smart grid technologies, customers are becoming power partners. Energy is no longer a one-way street. BEL is making key investments that will reinforce the grid to make this a reality, ensuring energy security for generations. At BEL, we are more than an energy provider. We work to safeguard Belize's energy future, which will have demand response programs, where customers will be able to shift use during peak hours to take advantage of the new time of use or off-peak rate structures, customer energy portals, real-time insights and tools to track usage and manage energy smarter, smart metering, advanced metering infrastructure, faster, safer service, and actionable energy insights. Distributed generation, integrating rooftop solar, microgrids, and battery storage for two-way power flows into the national grid. Together, we are bringing you a brighter tomorrow.
We at Full-Tech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Full-Tech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy 8. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Full-Tech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. We are jumping into our next conversation. And as I mentioned before the break, this is all about fire season alert for Belizeans. We're calling it Up in Smoke. And that's because that's what you can expect if you do not properly protect your properties. We also know that we are in the season, an El Nino season, which will be bringing drier weather. And so with a drought, there's also the possibility of brush fires, wildfires as well. And so this morning we have here with us Mr. Gladstone Bucknor. He is the fire station officer here in Belize City. Good morning, Mr. Bucknor.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Good to be here.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's set the stage and perhaps look at where we are right now. We are in the month of May, a warmer month in terms of the entire year, and we know that it's an El Nino year, and so it's set to be a lot hotter than usual. With that, there's a possibility of wildfires. We also know that we have been reporting on several house fires as well on the news. In terms of the work that you guys do at the fire station here in Belize City, what have you guys found yourselves covering most of so far in the year 2026 in terms of fire and relief and support?
We find ourselves mostly, there's a lot of house fire and a lot of bushfire. I mean, bushfires last year, it was really rampant throughout the entire country.
Yeah.
And house fire is stepping up a lot now. And the truth is that some people just leave on the stove.
Yeah.
And walk out and say they're going to shop. Forget their beans on. Forget their pigtail or something on the stove.
Yeah.
And when they come back, the house on fire.
As a professional in this field, I imagine you come across plenty of fires in your career so far. But what's the most scary to try to douse? Is it the wildfire or is it the house fire, where you're trying to ensure that life is protected, that no one is hurt?
Two of them have their risk. Two of them have severe consequences. The house fire, we have to ensure that no one is in the building itself, because remember, we are here for life before property. So the life, yes. When it comes to wildfire, yes, it is out in the field and it's out in the jungle or in the wildlife area. We have to remember that, you know, animals live out there, and they do have some cabins out there, but those are all the way out in the wilderness. There's not much we can do. On the fire she will go in and those one way out in the jungle.
So your primary jurisdiction is areas where residential properties are, is what I'm understanding. Now, when it comes to house fires then, what are the common reasons that you would find houses go up in flames? You mentioned that somebody left on the pata beans, they said they're going to shop and take the risk, but are there other reasons why people's houses would go up in flames?
Yes, they do have other reasons. We forget to realize that the house that we live in, the wiring is very old. And sometimes the electrician will use the thinnest wire rather than the thicker wire for your house. And in this case, some people overload the circuits, and you will see dark spots around your outlet. You will hear a clicking sound. You'll hear your breaker tripping off. And you say, oh man, just put it on back. Not taking into account what is causing it to trip. Then you put it back on, you start to smell like, hey, I smell smoke. Not knowing that your roof is now on fire because now you take too long to check what's going on.
Pause really quickly then, Mr. Bucknor. Are there telltale signs that your house could potentially go up in flames from overloading then? Because you just said that your breaker could trip, and then next thing you know, your roof is on fire. I'm certain there are quite a few people who've heard that breaker trip at some point. The overload, you know, certain sections of the house you hear also the breaker shut off, you know, got no electricity there, so you have to go trip the breaker. Are there telltale signs that your house could potentially, you know, become a situation where it's up in smoke because of overloading your system?
Right. The first thing that happened, the breaker will trip. Once it's overloading, because it's electrical and it's man-made, you know, they will have flaws where the breaker might not trip, but eventually you might start smell something burning in the area. Right away, cut off all the breakers. make sure that heat is not going through that wire. Cut off all the breakers, trip it off, and start look for what's that burning coming from. Now, one section of the house, the contractors, or the electrician will divide the house into segments, into different parts. The lights would probably go to one breaker, or half of the house will go to one breaker. Now, outlets on one hand goes to separate breakers, and most of the time, when we plug in our stuff, we want flat screen TV, we want all kind of these modern things now, not taking into account that the wiring in our house is not up to date. And by doing that, you put in a heavier load on your system, and whenever it trips, you will say, you know something, trip on back on, man. Not knowing that the stuff that you just plugged in causing it to trip.
Yeah.
And you want all this, luxury stuff in your home. So,
do you find more commonly that fires are started because of that, overloading?
They do have fires that start due to overloading, and especially around holiday season.
Okay.
And they do have fires start due to unattended stoves. Baking, and people just going out to the shop. Oh, I want to take a run right down the street to go buy my bolida and come back.
Yeah.
By the time you go down the street to buy the bolida and come back.
So what I'm understanding then, there are more situations of negligence that leads to house fires.
Right.
Now I have a question I've always wanted to ask. When it comes to fires that are started by negligence, one way or another, if my house catch fire because I left the stove on or because I forget to out a candle and I drop asleep, and my neighbor's house burns down as a result, what is that process like? As the neighbor, does the neighbor have any type of recourse that they can claim when it comes to the law? Can I be charged for something like that, for the negligence on my part?
They do have certain things in the law of negligence use of fire and negligence altogether. It is something that we have to look into more. The police do enforce those sections, and it's something that we need to look into more, or maybe adjust our laws.
So now let's look at wildfires really quickly, because we are expecting a drier season than normal, and with that there's the anticipation that wildfires will be taking place this year. Are there anything that we can do, or are there things that we can do to protect our property and its surroundings in terms of what will be taking place out in the wild?
Okay, when it comes to the brush fire, we always tell people, create a fire pot. Even DOE, even forestry will tell you, whenever you want to burn a milk pot, when you're going to burn your farm, create a wide enough fire pot.
What's a fire path, and how do you make it?
A fire pot, depending on the land that you have, you create you cut your trees all the way down to the ground. All the way down to the ground. It's like you're making a road then.
Okay.
It's like you're making a road, a wide enough road, so that fire doesn't jump over to the other side. You make it around where you want to burn.
Okay.
So it's like your house. You have your house in dead center. You cut around your yard, you cut around your perimeter, so that whatever wildfire comes in, it won't reach your house because it's already cut low. It's already down to the ground. Now, most of the time when you see people, especially villagers.
You're to talk to me right now, Mr. Bucknor. Give me some information.
Especially villagers. Villagers like to light the garbage outside. And then they not cut the yard, and then sometimes not run. And when that do run, you might run straight to your home or run to somebody else's home. No, if you like that, that's a negligence. You have fire.
Yeah.
Now, you cause this fire to occur, and now you burn down this person's house.
Yeah.
Now, who can we blame for that?
Yeah. Now, one of the things, since we're on the topic of like village properties, I've seen cases where people, they try to light their yard fire ahead of time, so that, what's that process, and what does that do?
So, especially farmers, because they need to, burn and for fresh grow, to grow their crops.
Does that protect you from brush fires?
What they do, forestry get involved, and they have to write to the forestry department so they can, they watch the wind direction. That's one important thing you need to watch. Watch the weather that's happening right now, because I don't think forestry will allow, and I think we won't allow to burn in a very humid area and breeze really blow, because you saw light that area, potentially is that all the debris, because remember, particles fire
Yeah.
in those little stuff that fly off, they can light.
Yeah.
And they will go onto the dry bush on the other side. So we try our best to make it, have them wide enough and not in too much of a humid area or a windy time of the weather, you know. So yeah.
If a major wildfire was to, or brush fire was to break out today, do you feel that we would be equipped to provide protection to whoever is in the surrounding area?
If a wildfire breaks out, we do have some equipments. We will stand a chance. However, we do need more equipments. Forestry is mostly the one way I actually did it most of the inland wildfire. We're only here, we'll stay within our area so that we can outfire that is actually coming towards livestock or coming towards the residential area. Once it's going out into the wild, we will help try to mitigate it, try break it down, but it's forestry mostly did it that part.
Now, going back to residential properties, how much responsibility should there be on the residents versus authorities when it comes to protecting their properties from house fires and even controlling the fires when they do take place?
We always try to tell people, try to get your smoke detectors inside your house. Smoke detectors is one of the main first alert within any structure. And some of the smoke detector will actually detect carbon dioxide, any kind of smoke that comes in. And it will be your first sort of alarm. And keep keen attention. Listen to maybe humming in your ceiling, in your walls. Because sometimes due vibration from wires, you could actually hear it crackling. And you could actually, stop that before you even go farther. And every time you see a breaker trips off, take that in consideration. Find out why it's going on. Don't go and replace the breaker with a bigger one, please. Don't go and replace it with a bigger one and say, oh, it's just a breaker. No, it's not just a breaker. It's something else happening. Maybe a rat through the wire. Maybe there's those Geico get in between the outlets or behind the switches, all right? And having a fire extinguisher in your home is very, very important.
Yeah.
How to use it, come to any fire department, I will show you how to use it.
A lot of people don't I guess, see the necessity of stuff like that, though, if I'm being honest. A lot of people, I don't think the average household has a fire extinguisher.
Yeah. Well, that's true, but it's very important.
Yes.
It's very important, unless they could drop the cost.
Yeah.
So that people could more afford it.
I mean, it's the difference between protecting your entire property from something that could take it in just a couple of seconds versus, really losing everything.
Yeah.
And so as we wind down the conversation, I'll ask if you have any major tip that you would like to share with our viewers. What's the most important thing that people should take from this conversation this morning, Mr. Bucknor?
The most important thing, learn your surroundings, learn your home. If you know that your home, check your wiring. If you know you're living in a home for so long, check your wiring. If you have any question about fire department or anything for fire extinguishers, smoke detectors, check with the nearest fire department. They can assist you in how to use it and what needs to be installed.
All right. Well, Gladstone Bucknor, everyone. We appreciate this conversation and the time that you've taken to speak with us this morning. I'm hoping that you guys were able to take heed of the information, purchase a smoke detector. I know that that's one of the more cheaper options if you'd like to start there. And if you're able to get a fire extinguisher, place that in your homes as well and learn about the different types of fires and how they can potentially be started. And of course, how you can protect your property. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Bucknor. We wish you all the best.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we take a quick break now, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, our next conversation is Care Beyond the Call, celebrating Belize's nurses.
My name is Dr. Rosita Jimenez, and I'm a general laparoscopic surgeon. We have just finished an emergency appendectomy, and we're now moving on to our second operating theater for our laparoscopic gallbladder screening. Basically, this is very easy to diagnose. Simple abdominal ultrasound or a pan-abdominal ultrasound can give us the diagnosis. Laparoscopic gallbladder removal surgeries, 90 to 80% of the time, are done due to gallstones. However, there are other conditions like tumors, malfunctioning of the gallbladder, that also are reasons to get a laparoscopic surgery. We also have an amazing CT scan and X-ray unit who work hand in hand with our doctors. Instruments used in laparoscopic surgery are chokers like these. It makes it easy for us to do the surgery through these entry ports. The recovery process is excellent. Basically, within a week, you are back up, ready to do your job, your daily life activity, like if you hadn't had this surgery.
Haven't updated your information recently? Well, kick off the new year as a winner. RF&G Insurance is giving you a free chance to win every month. Entering is easy. Just chat with us on WhatsApp and update your information. That's it. You'll be automatically entered into our monthly raffle for a chance to win awesome prizes. Don't wait. Message us on WhatsApp and update your info today. RF&G Insurance. It pays to get it right.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned with us. This is our third conversation for this morning, and we're celebrating nurses. And we have joining us on set this morning Mr. Javier Ortiz, who is the Vice President of the Nurses Association of Belize. We also have joining us on set Ms. Keslin Lizama, who is the Director of Nursing Services at the KHMH, as well as Nurse Lizette Bell, who's the Chief Nursing Officer over at the ministry.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We are happy to have you guys here to celebrate nurses in the country and, of course, the world by extension. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Yeah. So thank you all also for having us this morning. Myself from the ministry and Nurse Lizama, as you mentioned, from Carl Huchner, and Nurse Ortiz from the Nurses Association of Belize. So we are here this morning to celebrate our nurses throughout the country. Every year, Nurses Week is being celebrated between the 6th to the 12th. And so there are different activities that occur during that period of time. So I'll hand it over to Nurse Lizama for her to explain what Carl Huchner is doing, and then Nurse Ortiz to explain what the association is doing.
All right.
So we have a pretty packed week of events. We started yesterday by recognizing our midwives for International Day of the Midwife, and today we begin with our recognition ceremony. So our staff, they get their different awards by units. We also have planned for a nurses breakfast on Thursday, where we're partnering with the Fort George Hotel and Spa to be able to give them a little something in the morning.
Oh, that's lovely.
There's also a spa day on Friday where they're able to do manicure and pedicure. It's just a little bit of our way of sort of treating our staff and working along with them. Next week we have a sports day, so we're able to exercise a bit of the athletic side of nursing, and so we're looking forward to having that participation from all of our staff.
Now, we can go, Mr.
Well, on behalf of the Nurses Association of Belize, as per every year, we start our day, or Nurses Week, yesterday, as well as celebrating the midwives. Then today is the church service at Divine Mercy Church here at the Northern Highway. Then tomorrow we have the National T-shirt Day, where all nurses in Belize are encouraged to wear a T-shirt. On Friday, we have our annual nursing conference with a variety of topics that are very interesting for all of us in the country. And on Saturday, we have our land clinic. We did a collaboration with the Ministry of Natural Resources, and we have our third phase of land clinic where all nurses having issues with land can come. We invite them to come so that they can sort out the issue. And on Monday, we have a t-shirt day again, and on Tuesday, we have a video competition.
Yeah.
And then also each hospital around the country, being regional, being a community hospital, has their own week of activities as well. So we're all together celebrating our week.
I know the association might not be able to have an idea of how many nurses we have in the country it's in its entirety, but do you have an idea of how many nurses we have, both public and private?
Okay, so when it comes to the total number of nurses in the country, we have approximately 987 nurses registered to practice in this country.
Wow.
Of that, the Ministry of Health and Wellness employs 50% of those nurses. So we have most of them in the different public health facilities, and the other 50% is employed between the Carl-Huchner Memorial Hospital private sector, and we also have some nurses who are retired who desire to keep their license to do some consultancies or even lecture part-time and so forth.
That's an interesting detail there, because I think nursing is one of those professions that you can afford to have a level of longevity, even, as long as you have the energy to do it. There's the need for it. But I'm curious to know if you have any information on young people coming into the profession as well. Are we seeing an increase in younger people deciding to take on this career?
Sure, definitely. We did the State of the World Nursing Report in 2025. That's a global report that is done every 5 years. And so we do a deep analysis of our entire nursing profile. And so ours show that about 60 to 70% of our nurse population is between the ages of 25 and 40. So we have a very young nursing population in Belize. And also the interest of getting into the profession is very high. We do have the University of Belize providing nursing education, and now we have St. John's Junior College University also providing nursing education. So we can see that there is a high demand for the profession, and because of that, and due to the shortages that we have, the Ministry of Health and Wellness offers scholarships every year to cover the tuition and fees for nurses who would want to enter the profession.
Yeah.
Yes, so that should be launched this week as part of Nurses Week as well.
And we follow that. We follow the different ways that the ministry has tried to incentivize people joining the profession and learning a bit more and expanding and going further in their education. But I want to step things back a little bit and highlight the moment that we are celebrating and the importance of that. Why is it important for us to celebrate our nurses here in Belize in particular?
Okay, well, this year's theme for Nurses Week is Empowered Nurses Save Lives. So it is very important for us, the ministry, Carl-Huchner, and the association to collaborate together to ensure that our nurses have the adequate continued education, know about new technologies for them to improve their care to the patients and services to our population. But Nurses Week is also about recognizing them and to show appreciation for what they do. Working in our health facilities is not an easy task. You have seen recently nurses are being under attack which wasn't occurring in the past.
Yeah.
So the expectations and the demands from the public has become different now, and so we take this time to recognize our nurses and to thank them, and also to bring awareness to the population about the nursing profession and the value of nursing in the health system and the country, because we don't only work in health systems, we are everything for the community. We are teachers, we are advocates, educators, every different category. We are counselors. That is what the nurses normally do for the community.
Yes.
And so definitely in supporting our nurses, you're looking at better patient outcomes. So the nurse that has the resources to be able to work, the nurse that has that support coming from the community, from the administrators, will be able to produce better nursing care. And better nursing care means a healthier population, increasing productivity for the labor force. So it all has this kind of ripple effect across the board. And as Ms. Bell said, they're in the community. We're just about everywhere. Even when you're home on your day off, you are still the nurse, because someone in your neighborhood knows that you are the nurse. And so if we support them in the work that they do and let them know that we are investing in their future in that way, we have more nurses to be able to care for the population.
How would you describe a day in the life of a nurse at KHMH?
I think it starts, maybe depending on where you're working and what particular day of the week it is, or what it's happening. If it's a national holiday coming up, that could change a little bit of how you approach it. But, it's kind of fast-paced. Look where you're working. You are looking forward to the work at hand. I find that it's not so much the work that you may say, tires you, but it's everything in between, right? It's looking at, do I have everything I need to be able to give care for today? What are the different roadblocks that are going to come up from it? And so your days may be one that's, fairly smooth. You go through it, a little bit of kinks here or there, no problem. And then some days are a little bit heavier than others, whether that's, compounded by maybe a loss of a patient or a difficult encounter with maybe a relative or someone or your colleague even. These are things that you have on a daily basis. But I think I say for me as a nurse, one of the things that's really well at the end of the day is if I'm discharging a patient, that means a patient's going home to be able to be back with their family. Somebody was staying with you for a very long time and they're able to go home. That's the good part. So it kind of cancels out all the bad that might have happened in that day, having a good outcome for your patient.
And Ms. Artis, how is it that nurses continue to fuel the passion for the work?
I think it comes a long way with advocacy and loving the profession. Also, vocation is something that you want to do. You live for it. Like, I would do it over and over again. And you fuel every day. And I think it has to do with your patients as well. Patients being thankful to us. Simple thank you. Sounds simple, but it goes a long way. A smile from your patient, we as nurses are advocates throughout our life, from we start our career, and we care for people. And that's something natural that comes along. So I think that's what fuels me, and I think a lot of nurses to do it every day. Because we work in a high acuity environment, emergency departments. We have a high demanding community now. The community is growing in Belize. So at the end of the day, we are under a lot of stress. Celebrating our nurses also helps mental health. We deviate a little bit from the daily dynamics of the hospital. So mental health is something very important right now, not only for the entire population, but us as healthcare workers.
To keep going as well.
To keep going, yes.
There's also something that I wanted to acknowledge. Gone are the days where we associate nursing as that female job as well. We have yourself a part of the nursing association, and you're a man, Are you seeing more males go into the profession and say that, this is something that they're passionate about?
Yes, we see more males now in Belize. I'm proud to say I work at the Northern Regional Hospital, and I've counted about 11 male nurses. Okay. So I'm proud to be a part of a female profession, and we work hand in hand. The collaboration we have, it's different. We all have different point of views when it comes to nursing and certain things, but there's something that would always unite us, and I think it's our professional love for it.
Yeah, man, we don't call it a female profession. No profession have any gender associated with it.
Yes.
But also, I think is important to acknowledge the collaboration that we're seeing here with the association and the ministry as well. How important is it that you guys keep dialogue and keep communicating with each other from the association standpoint, speaking on behalf of the nurses in the country, and then of course engaging with the ministry to ensure that their needs are being met and to provide other areas of support?
We work as the lobbying body with the Ministry of Health. We have a good relationship so far with the Ministry of Health. So we go about doing our country tours. We get feedbacks from our nurses throughout the country, and then we come back and report to the Ministry of Health, and this is how we do work. Every year we do it. And it has been very positive. It has always been positive, and at the end of the day, it's because we want to have a better outcome for nurses. And not only that, it will interpret into better outcome for the patients and the community, and that's what we want.
Like, Nurse Bell, your thoughts on that? The importance of association representing nurses in the country?
Yes, it is very important for the nurses to be a part of their association, for nurses to unionize, in the case of Card-Hushner as well. It helps for them to be able to bargain together. It also helps to keep us, the ministry, in check, because they are the ones who are out there on a daily basis, so they would be the ones who would see the issues that are occurring, and through this dialogue and this continued collaboration with the association, that is how we can make changes. We have to ensure that we have a voice and that we provide evidence to the table. So when we have discussions with the association, they bring data, they bring evidence to us and show us, you know what, these are the things that are occurring. And so we devise a plan, and we try our best from this the perspective of the ministry to try to make improvements based on what we had agreed upon. But I must say, yes, we have a very strong relationship with the Nurses Association of Belize, and that partnership is there.
All right, well, as we wrap up this conversation, we want to end on a note of celebration, yes? And so remind us once more of the activities that are set to take place. And from our standpoint, viewers tuning in, what can we do to celebrate with you guys? You know, I know that there are many times nurses are stationed at their respective health facilities working long hours. Is there any type of support that you would like? If we are a patient, or if we're patients going in the hospital, what can we do to celebrate with you guys this week?
Okay, well, to celebrate with us this week, we invite you to participate. You are welcome to join the church service as well, 6 p.m. at Divine Mercy here in the city. In the other districts, we have different walks that will occur. You could be as simple, be nice to a nurse this week.
Every day.
And every day.
Yes.
But extra nice this week as part of
bring
Nurses.
some cupcakes, something.
As part of Nurses Week. But I also would like to comment that for the nurses working with the Ministry of Health and Wellness, we normally, one activity from a national perspective is a rest and relaxation day.
Okay.
So nurses will be going on a trip to Rendezvous Key, fully sponsored by the Ministry of Health for those who work with under the public health system.
Excellent.
So we have 2 days so that all nurses in the public health system can enjoy a time off away from work.
All right.
So definitely for the nurses to join in on the activities this week. There's a packed agenda. Look out for it on your units. For the public, we will also be having our volleyball tournament in the evening starting today. So come on out, pick your team, cheer for it, and may the best team win.
All right. Any final thoughts, Mr. Ortiz?
Well, to join us today for the church service, then also for the national conference happening on Friday in the city of Belmopan, and also Saturday, the land clinic, which is very important for a lot of nurses to sort out issues. So we're awaiting them to attend so that we can work together and see what we come up with and celebrate all of us.
All right. Excellent. Thank you very much. Empowered nurses save lives. We wish you guys all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. We take another quick break, and when we come back, our next conversation is Belize heading to Morocco. Maia Tellez takes local impact global.
Belize wakes up connected to opportunity. And across our country, the work to keep Belize connected continues. SMART continues expanding our network across the country, bringing stronger coverage to more communities. With recent service enhancements in areas at Blue Creek and Progresso, Belize City, Orange Walk, and more on the way. We're bringing education closer to home, empowering entrepreneurs to grow their businesses, supporting industries that drive our economy, and keeping families connected wherever life takes them. With every expansion, we are investing in the infrastructure that moves Belize forward. Because connection isn't just about signal, it's about opportunity, progress, and the future we are building together. SMART, bringing people together.
Hi, I'm Ava.
And I'm Aiden. We're your AI guides to all things NHI.
In this video, we will guide you on how to become an NHI member. You, and if you have a child, must have a Social Security card. To get an SSB card is easy. Visit socialsecurity.org.bz/card-replacement to view the required documents that are needed.
There is a fee of only $5 Belize for a first-time issue and $26 Belize for a replacement card. Newborns can use their mother's SSB card for up to 2 months.
With your SSB card, you and all family members can register at any NHI contracted clinic of your choice.
You and members of your family can now access health care when needed.
Please note that once you are registered with a clinic, you must go to that same clinic when you need medical care. Look out for more NHI guides like this.
The future is calling. Belize Bank. Your future, our commitment.
Welcome back. This is our final conversation, and I'm really looking forward to it. We have an extraordinary young researcher on our hand, or perhaps a future researcher on our hands. And we're going to be talking about Maia Tellez, headed to Morocco. And she has something to tell. She'll be talking about what she's doing here locally and the global impact that it is set to have. Now, Maia Tellez Coleman is a student, and she also, I guess, is a little bit of a mentee, perhaps I could say, to her mother. Dr. Marissa Tellez, no stranger to you guys. Dr. Tellez is the executive director of the Crocodile Research Coalition, also known as CRC. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us and welcome.
Thank you
This
so
is
much.
exciting. I was just telling Maya before we came on air, I was told, Maya, that you wrestle crocs and you're fighting them and you're on their backs and all of that. And she's like, no, that's my mom. And I just think that is so cool. I just want to set the stage really quickly for the type of work that you do, Dr. Tellez, representing CRC, and why it's so important for us to continuously highlight this type of work and conservation even here in Belize as it relates to crocodiles.
So with the CRC, part of our mission is to really reconnect communities and nature, and we are doing that through crocodiles. So in Mesoamerican societies, going pre-Maya, so going all the way to the Olmec, the Toltec, the Zoltec, finally to the Maya and the Aztecs, these animals were not feared, they were revered. And they're highly revered in a lot of ancient civilizations, as well as many indigenous cultures around the world. There's a lot of ways to reconnect or coexist with these amazing animals. And given that these animals are part of the land, and even looking at records from the first European settlers that came here and other immigrants a few centuries ago, there was really a cultural intertwining with crocodiles.
Yeah.
Crocodiles are part of culture here in Belize, and they're just as important as the food and the language. And so one of the things with the CRC is that we're really trying to provide the facts about crocodiles, squashing those misguided beliefs that have stemmed from colonization and then Hollywood. And we're really trying to give people the idea of what the truth is about crocodiles, really building that pride and stewardship. And it's not just about crocodiles, it's about their habitat as well as other wildlife.
Yeah.
It's really trying to get people to understand we're not outside of nature, we are part of nature, and if we really want to move forward in a positive direction, it's coexisting with these animals.
Okay, so what I want to do really quickly is have 3 statements, facts and myths. I want you to give me 3 facts about crocodiles and their coexistence here in Belize, and 3 myths that you have heard so far. Perhaps this could be something that could be useful for our viewers who still fear these animals. When they see them, they think, oh my gosh, we need to kill them, or oh my gosh, we need to turn them into a burger. What are 3 facts and 3 myths about crocodiles and their living and their habitat here in Belize?
Okay, so real quick, Maya, for a fact, are our crocodiles aggressive or timid?
Timid.
What? No, Maya, I do not believe that.
It is true.
So our crocodiles are more timid and shy. They're not an aggressive species. The reason why many people think that they are probably aggressive is it stems from old documentaries. You know, if there's documentaries about our crocodiles, it's like, oh wow, they're going after a fish, a turtle. People want to see the crocodile taking down the zebra or taking, really big prey down.
I've seen Discovery Channel where a crocodile takes down large animals.
Yes, whereas our species, what is the majority diet of an American crocodile?
Fish. Just fish.
Oh, wow.
It's fish. And what's the percentage of the diet?
95%.
Wow. What's the other 5%? But 95 is a large amount.
Just crustaceans, like crabs, lobster, stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
You know your stuff.
I'm telling you, I was like crustaceans. Okay, that's 2. What's the 3rd one?
All right, so our species is really more active during that crepuscular nocturnal time. That means from dusk to dawn. That's when they're more active, and that's why people don't really see them that much during the day.
The daytime.
And this is why we know that there are certain people that go spearfishing during the day for fish, because they know, yes, we know that there are crocodiles here, but the crocodiles are in a sense sleeping. They're inactive, so we're going to go spearfishing during the day.
That is so interesting. Now, I want to talk really quickly about your daughter, Maia, and the type of work that she has been doing supporting you. How old are you, Maia? First off, I want to start there.
10.
You are 10 years old, and you are so active in this type of work, learning about crocodiles in general, and of course, their patterns, I guess, in the country here. Why are you interested in this? Is it only because your mom does this type of work, or are you genuinely intrigued about crocodiles too?
I love crocodiles. They feel like so connected because I realized that they don't want to hurt us. Like, if you feel like, oh, I think this thing wants to hurt me, no, it's thinking that you want to hurt it. So then when I see a crocodile and I feel like people are trying to hurt it, I want to emotionally have a breakdown.
Oh, wow. That's big. Now, if you would ever spot a crocodile in the open, right? Because here in Belize City, there are some people who see crocodiles like roaming out in their like residential areas. What would you do? If you see a crocodile kind of like on the side of a canal area, what would you do?
I'd leave it.
You'd leave it. Why would you leave it? Or why is it important to leave it?
Because they don't want to do anything to you. They just want to stay in their place.
But I've also seen some people try to feed it. What happens if you feed a croc?
Oh, because people think most crocs are aggressive, but it's mostly just because people are feeding it. And when people feed it, that they think, oh, you're gonna feed me all the time. So then eventually they'll start biting you.
Ah. Now, you are headed to Morocco, I'm told, and you're on big business, girl. I heard you're on a business trip going to talk about some of the work that you have been doing here alongside your mom. Do you do like research and stuff like that? What have you found out?
A lot of things, but most of my findings are when I was just little, because when I was like 5, I would go with my mom. She would go to conferences, and I would learn about stuff, and most of my education was there.
Tell us a bit about that picture, that image behind us. What are you doing there?
Oh, so I'm explaining to my class what I'm about to do in Morocco because they have no idea what's happening.
Yeah. Right. So yes, what did you tell them?
So I talked about what I was going to present and what we have found that is going to be very big.
And what did you find, Maya?
We found a brown basilisk in an American crocodile's stomach. It has never been recorded before in a crocodile's stomach, so it's very big.
Okay,
a brown basilisk?
Yeah, break that down a
What's
little
a
bit more
basilisk?
for us. Yeah.
So what's the other name for the brown
a
basilisk?
Jesus lizard.
A Jesus lizard? Is this like a holy crocodile?
No. It's those type of lizards that they can run on water.
Oh, the one that runs really fast. Yeah.
So what does that mean? Why is it important for us to document something like that?
Because if we know what they eat, we can protect their prey, so then they can have a sustainable life.
Oh, that's so interesting. And you got all of that from finding a Jesus lizard inside a crocodile.
Yep.
Now I understand why they call it Jesus lizard.
Because they walk on water.
Yes. Yeah.
This is really cool. Now I understand that you were able to do some research with a scientist that was here in Belize as well. Yeah. Tell me about what that experience was like.
It was very exciting, but then I realized I do it in my daily life because every Friday I come home and she puts me on a boat and we gotta go catch crocs.
That's every day?
Every Friday.
Every Friday. Every Friday.
For research, yeah.
Yeah.
For research.
Yes. So Maya, she's one of the initiatives.
Is that the Jesus?
Yes, that's it.
That doesn't look holy in here.
A little Jurassic Park.
Right.
So part of the initiative with the CRC is fostering that next generation of young scientists in Belize. And so Maya is part of our wildlife youth group known as Next Gen Croc. And there's about 8-10 students. They all range from about 8 to 13 years old. And what happened was when I always try to bring them into the research. So these students, they come on habitat surveys out with us. They go on nocturnal eyeshine surveys, research surveys. They participated in nest surveys of crocodiles as well. They are getting hands-on experience of what it's like to be a wildlife researcher. And I had received a call that a crocodile had just been hit by a car in Placencia. And so when that happens, I have to do a necropsy. And that was early in the morning. Maia was about to go to school, and she said, "Mom, can you wait for me to do the necropsy when you get home?" And I was like, "Oh, and I'll invite one of our other Next Gen Croc students to help with the necropsy." So this is dissecting an animal.
Did she really ask that?
Yes.
It's like, you want to see that? Oh.
Most kids, they just want to go watch cartoons after
I
school.
want to watch the necropsy.
Yeah,
Let's go
and
ahead.
so it was when we were doing the necropsy, we had this finding, and I'm very excited because Maia and the other 13-year-old from our Next Gen Croc program, they're publishing a paper about their finding. And Maia and I, along with my employee Jonathan Treminio from Orange Rock, we are headed to this conference in Morocco. It's the IUCN Crocodile Specialist Group meeting. So when you hear about jaguars being endangered, the yellowhead parrot being critically endangered, that status, it's determined by 12,000 scientists in the world. Myself and Jonathan are one of those 12,000 scientists, but we are focused on crocodiles. So this is going to be an event with some of the top crocodilian scientists or just scientists in the world. And Maia will be able to present her findings, and she will do an amazing job representing the youth of Belize as well.
How do you feel about that?
I felt nervous, but it's not as bad as performing on a Christmas Day show.
The comparison. Why is
I love that.
Why is that?
Because I've been to one of these croc conferences before, so I feel good about this, but with school performances, no.
I love that. And it really goes to show that Maia is just a 10-year-old kid who is curious about wildlife and crocodiles, but at the heart of it, she's still a kid. You know, she's saying being on a stage doing a Christmas recital is more scary than this.
What are you doing to prepare, Maia?
I'm usually just practicing with my mom what I am going to say and what I am going to experience there.
Will you have notes?
No.
No, you'll just kind of use information you know and present?
Yeah, because I've taken this along with me since second grade. My principal always said, never use notes because that means people are knowing that you're unprepared.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and that's at Placencia Elementary Limited,
So do you feel prepared?
Yes.
You set the standard really high, you know.
Yeah, for 10-year-olds, there's a lot of 10-year-olds.
For me as an adult, never use notes.
We use notes. We have notes right here.
That's so amazing.
So when are you headed to Morocco?
Today.
Today?
Yeah, our travels start today. So
Like what?
and there's been so many little things.
So you all travel today?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just thinking because we got to go to Miami and then New York.
And then Morocco, just because of the traveling, like how the flight pattern is. Yeah.
How can we follow along on the journey?
So if you head on to the Crocodile Research Coalition Facebook or Instagram page, we'll be conducting updates or putting the updates out there. And the other girl that had published the paper, she was supposed to come with us as well because it's not just about publishing the papers, but I have had also, this is the second conference two of my Next Gen Croc students have presented at. Several years ago, I had a student from Mango Creek as well as from Placencia that they presented about Belizean wildlife at an international conference a couple years ago. So again, this is one of my favorite programs with the Crocodile Research Coalition, is really just fostering that next generation of scientists. And we have various events throughout the year to help support this Next Gen Croc program. We have a croc run in October that's coming up, and then we also have Battle of the Paddles that's happening in August in collaboration with Barefoot Services, Ian Yearwood. He is the creator of this, but all these events help us to fund some of these conservation efforts, which includes supporting that next generation of Belizean scientists and environmentalists.
Excellent. Well, ladies, this is exciting. You guys are headed to Morocco today, or at least starting that journey there today. Maia, we are so excited for you. We were so proud of you as well. You're so brilliant at just 10 years old, and we can't imagine what you'll be doing years from now, you know, alongside your mom as well, and many other future researchers as well. We wish you all the best. All right. Well, we do have to take our final break, and we'll come back and wrap things up after that. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Is essential for everyday life, but behind every outlet, a lot is happening to bring you safe, reliable, and sustainable energy. Let's start at the beginning. Independent power producers across Belize generate electricity using a mix of renewable and non-renewable resources. Electricity travels across a network of high-voltage transmission lines capable of transmitting electricity across long distances. Electricity then reaches your nearest substation, where it is adjusted to a lower voltage, making it safe to travel on the distribution lines you see in your community. From there, electricity makes its final journey from the distribution lines to your home, providing you with safe and reliable power when you need it. Belize Electricity Limited. We continue to serve you.
I've always been fascinated with gemstones. It's all about taking nature's beauty and creating something uniquely beautiful. I've had inspiration from the Belize Blue Bull, the beaches, the jaguar. I've launched a new product called Co-Design with Deb, and Atlantic Bank's e-commerce system has opened the door to my international customers so I can receive payments so they can have their custom pieces shipped to them.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Belize wakes up connected to opportunity. And across our country, the work to keep Belize connected continues. SMART continues expanding our network across the country, bringing stronger coverage to more communities. With recent service enhancements in areas at Blue Creek and Progresso, Belize City, Orange Walk, and more on the way. Where bringing education closer to home, empowering entrepreneurs to grow their businesses, supporting industries that drive our economy, and keeping families connected wherever life takes them. With every expansion, we are investing in the infrastructure that moves Belize forward. Because connection isn't just about signal, it's about opportunity, progress, and the future we are building together. SMART, bringing people together.
Welcome back. We are wrapping things up at this time, and it's been a wonderful Wednesday morning here with you guys. We had some good conversations this morning, and as we wrap up the show, I know most of our viewers, they're probably getting ready to hit the road, and if you are doing that, you're probably late for work, I'll tell you that. Or you're you're staying at home and you're preparing your morning, whether you've already had breakfast and this is just the conclusion of that. Thank you so much for locking in with us. The participation was through the roof this morning from the start to the finish. I can tell just by looking at the comment section, a lot of people were really, really into the rental conversation.
Absolutely. And
with reason, right?
Yeah, that SIB statistic really put things into perspective for me and for a lot of people, because while it presents an average, it shows that on average Belizeans are making around $1,500 to $1,600 a month.
14 to 1,500.
Yeah, 14 to 15. Well, it's a bit over 15, so and that's 2025. So we'll cap it off at 16.
Okay,
right?
got you.
On average, 16. While most Belizeans in our poll or survey saying that they're paying anywhere from $500 to $800 in rent. So most Belizeans, well, from the poll, it's unscientific, but we're to take it at face value, they're paying anywhere from 40 to 50% of their salaries in rent alone.
I want to look at it as like most of our viewers who tune in, that's what they're saying.
Our viewers are well, our social media, it has people that just follows as well, so
but
we'll factor them in.
For me, I think there's another angle of this that we can look at. What's the fare in going into that bigger investment? If you're already paying that $500 to $800, where's the fare coming from? Is it because we don't have the capital?
That bigger investment,
to get like an actual mortgage.
Well, it's undoable. It's unthinkable if you can't afford the $800 that you're already paying because you have all this debt. But you still have to pay it anyway, and that's what people are saying. Yeah, well, you still have to pay it anyway, but you are crunched and you are under the weight of not only paying the rent, you're under the weight of having to pay off other debts. So you can imagine just over $1,000 is going into paying rent and debts every month. And if you try to take on a mortgage, which in many cases is a higher payment than $800, you could see how you'll drown yourself in just mortgage and other debts. So like what Mr. Hugo suggested, one of the best things to do is before you go into getting a mortgage, make sure you're managing your debts properly, right? Because one little issue, you can't pay a mortgage, you can't pay your debts, and everything just falls apart. And so I really like Mr. Hugo's advice. And then lastly, I really liked what he said about incentivizing investors, right? If you want people to build more affordable homes, then make it more affordable to build, right? That's one way you could invest through legislation. So that's I really appreciated that conversation.
Yeah, I did too. I think it gave me a lot to think about. I go back to the investment conversation because I saw a lot of people commenting and saying, why are we paying other people's mortgages? Because that's the truth of it. You go about, you pay these exorbitant amount. You go about paying these exorbitant amount in rent, and for a lot of people, that's the mortgage payment that they have as well, because they started early too, because it depends on how early as well that you decide to get a mortgage. That might determine how much you pay. But I know that we definitely needed more time to expand on that, and hopefully we do get an opportunity to do that at some point. But we do have to wrap things up at this time. It is May 6th, and if you are celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to you. If you'd like to give a birthday shout out, or if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can send us an email at oye@greaterbelize.com.
You can also catch us live on Facebook every weekday morning at Open Your Eyes BZ, or on Instagram for all the behind the scenes content at OYE Belize, and on TikTok at openyoureyes.bz.
And if you want to send us a text message or call us, you can do so. We have a phone number, that's 675-2555. But please do us a favor and join us again tomorrow on Thursday when you open your eyes
and start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your hearts wide open.
Have a wonderful Wednesday, Belize. We hope you stay cool, stay hydrated, stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and SMART, bringing people together.